You ever feel like something's calling to you, like it's buried in the blood of history, but somehow it's still breathing down your neck? That's how I felt the moment I finished watching Sinners. And I need you to hear this because this movie isn't just about vampires. It's about who we are, where we come from, and why the ghosts of our past still have their teeth in us. Now I know, on the surface, it looks like another fun horror flick. Blood, fangs, stylish slow-mo, a killer soundtrack, and yeah, vampires in the Mississippi Delta. But something deeper is going on here. It's hiding behind every line of dialogue, every scream, every note of music echoing through that juke joint. And it all starts with one question: why the hell is the main vampire Irish? Not British. Not some fancy European count with a cape. Irish. Like whiskey, famine, and rebellion Irish. And once you see it, once you really get what that means in the context of this film, you'll realize this story isn't just horror. It's history with fangs. Let me take you back for a second. Sinners tells the story of twin brothers Smoke and Stack. Two black gangsters from Chicago who leave the cold behind and set up a juke joint in Mississippi during the 1930s. They're chasing peace, music, and maybe a little power. But on the opening night of their club, 3 white vampires show up at their door. They're turned away. And then, all hell breaks loose. By the end of the night, most of the people in that joint have been turned into vampires. Blood everywhere. Chaos. And leading them is this sharp-dressed, smooth-talking man named Remmick, an Irish vampire who doesn't just take over the room. He seduces it. With music. With words. With presence. And for some reason, he feels familiar. Now here's the part that hit me like a punch to the gut. Remmick isn't Irish just because it sounds cool. He's Irish because of what Ireland and Black America have in common. He's Irish because he has to be Irish for the story to work. Director Ryan Coogler said this himself: he wanted the movie to explore the crossover between African American culture and Irish culture. He said it wasn't random. It was intentional. Especially the music. And once you understand that, everything clicks into place. Let me break it down for you. Both Black and Irish people came to America carrying trauma. Different kinds, sure, but trauma just the same. Both were seen as less than. Both were told they didn't belong. Both used music as a weapon. As healing. As a language when nobody else would listen. And Remmick? He's not some Dracula ripoff. He's the ghost of that Irish immigrant experience. A man who came to America before the country had fully defined what race even meant. Before the color lines were drawn the way we know them now. He walks into the juke joint and plays music like it's magic. And it is. Because music is how the Irish and the Black South survived. So when Remmick starts turning people into vampires, it's not just a horror thing. It's a metaphor. A deep one. He's not just turning them. He's consuming them. Taking their power. Their rhythm. Their soul. And making it part of his own undead empire. And yeah, that hits. Because it's about more than vampires. It's about what America does to culture. How it takes the music, the voices, the flavor of the people it once rejected and repackages it. Profits off it. Makes it immortal in a twisted way. And that's exactly what Remmick does. He doesn't just drink blood. He steals legacy. You feel that? Now here's where it gets even crazier. Remmick being Irish connects to real vampire history. Like actual history. You probably think of vampires as Romanian, right? Transylvania. Castles. Vlad the Impaler. But long before that, there was Abhartach. Abhartach is this terrifying figure from Irish folklore. A dark sorcerer. Undead. Blood drinking. Sound familiar? Some scholars actually believe he, not Vlad, was the real inspiration for Dracula. Yeah. Bram Stoker, the guy who wrote Dracula, was Irish. And the old tales he would have grown up with? They weren't about Eastern Europe. They were about dark creatures lurking in the green hills of Ireland. So when Coogler made Remmick Irish, he was pulling from something ancient. Something real. Something buried deep in the roots of storytelling. This wasn't an accident. This was legacy. And there's more. Let's talk about Buffy. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Remember Angelus? He's Irish too. And while Buffy didn't go nearly as deep into the historical stuff, it showed us that Irish vampires have been around in modern fiction. Angel's pain, his guilt, his redemption arc, it all connects to the idea of old-world creatures trying to survive in a new world. Remmick? He's not asking for redemption. He's here to conquer. And he does it with charm. With music. With rhythm that isn't his. That's what makes him dangerous. He's a symbol. He's what happens when pain goes unchecked. When someone takes beauty, black beauty, Irish beauty, Any kind of beauty born out of survival and tries to own it. Twist it. Wear it like a costume. Remmick isn't just a villain. He's a mirror. And maybe that's why his scenes are so magnetic. You can't look away. Because part of you gets it. Part of you feels drawn in. Like maybe we've all been seduced by things that weren't ours. Things we didn't fully understand. Maybe we've all been Remmick at some point. And I think that's the scariest part of Sinners. It's not just about good and evil. It's about history repeating itself. People repeating themselves. The same pain, recycled again and again but dressed differently. With new names. New sounds. New monsters. And the post-credits scene? Oh man. That's where it really hits home. Because it tells us this curse isn't over. This isn't something that dies when you drive a stake through it. This is a cycle. A legacy. A warning. The music plays on, and so does the hunger. Now I know some of you might be thinking, okay, cool, but isn't it just a movie? Isn't this reading too deep into it? But that's the thing. That's what the best horror has always done. From Get Out to Candyman, horror has always been the one genre brave enough to say the quiet part out loud. The ugly part. The real part. It takes the pain and dresses it in shadows so we'll actually look at it. And Sinners does that masterfully. It says, here's a story about music, blood, race, migration, and memory. Here's a monster who isn't just evil but familiar. Here's a warning. A question. A prayer. And when I think about Remmick, this Irish vampire standing in a juke joint in the 1930s, I don't just see a villain. I see a symbol of everything America has struggled with. Everything it still struggles with. Identity. Ownership. Who gets to tell the story? Who gets to live forever? Let me be real with you for a second. When I finished this movie, I didn't just feel scared. I felt seen. Conflicted. Angry. Inspired. Because this wasn't just some flashy horror movie with cool effects. This was history with a bite. It was asking me, what do you inherit, and what do you pass on? That's what makes Sinners powerful. That's what makes Remmick unforgettable. And that's why I needed to talk to you about it. Because these kinds of stories? They don't just entertain. They wake something up. And once it's awake, you can't ignore it anymore. So if you're someone who loves horror, but also craves meaning, if you want movies that dig deep and make you feel something real, not just jump scares and gore, this is your moment. Watch Sinners again. Listen to the music differently. Look at Remmick not just as a villain, but as a symbol. Think about what he means. What he represents. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And if this hit you like it hit me, I want you to do something right now. Don't just keep this video to yourself. Share it. Send it to a friend who loves horror. Someone who loves history. Someone who needs to hear this. Hit that like button so the algorithm doesn't bury this truth. And drop a comment, tell me what you saw in Remmick. What you felt when the credits rolled. I read every single one, and I promise your voice matters here. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a space for people who see through the shadows. People who want more than just surface-level stories. If that's you, you're home. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join this community. We're gonna keep going deeper. We're gonna keep pulling the mask off every monster. Because underneath all the horror, there's truth. And the truth? It always finds a way to rise again. Just like vampires. And hey, if this video gave you chills, or made you think differently about what horror can do, then stick around. We've got more coming. More monsters. More meaning. More moments that make you stop and go, damn. I never saw it like that before. Until then, keep your eyes open. Keep asking questions. And never forget, sometimes, the scariest monsters aren't hiding in the dark. They're dancing in the light. Wearing your music. Smiling with someone else's teeth. I'll see you in the next one.